Hey, are you someone who is just a little bit unsure and confused about what value proposition is, what positioning is, and what the difference between the two is? This video might just be for you. So the thing is, I was confused myself. I, couldn't quite make sense of these two terminologies because they seem to be, used interchangeably. And also, I did check a lot of resources. I checked Google, of course, and then I looked at a few websites. I also looked at HubSpot, and I didn't find anything good there. Most of the stuff was outdated. It didn't quite give me what I wanted. Even bigger publications like HubSpot were struggling to really explain what positioning actually is and what value proposition is. So after a few conversations with a few people, and then just getting deeper into this topic, I've come to this video, and the intention here is just to teach you what I learned in the process. uh, just before we go ahead, if you're watching my videos for the first time, my name is Pranav. I am a marketer, a freelancer, a consultant, a podcaster, a blogger, a YouTuber, but most importantly, a teacher. And in this video, like I said, we'll go deep into what value proposition is, into what positioning is, and of course, like as I promised, I'll be sharing a few examples as well. Okay, here we go. Now, let's start with positioning. So positioning is just a few pointers, okay, before we get into the examples. Positioning is a result of intention and reputation, and this point is a little subtle. It just seems a little too obvious in the beginning, but it's something which I feel is quite important. So what is intention? Intention is something that comes from the business. The business or the brand says that, hey, we want to position this particular business. I'm calling it a W business. We want to position this dummy business as a go-to apparel brand for teenage girls, right? So that's what the intention is. The reputation is something that happens with marketing. So as this particular brand starts marketing, as they hone their communication, as they indulge in communication with their target market through different communication channels, what they are looking to get to is this, where a teenage girl actually who fits into the target market actually says, whenever I think of buying comfortable jeans, I can think of only dummy business. So this is the reputation, right? So as a brand, the intention is to create a market position for a specific person. I want to have a specific slot in their mind. That's what positioning is. And if the positioning is done successfully, then it's more of a reputation. It's something that people associate you with. And so the question that we need to ask ourselves as marketers is, what do we want to be perceived as? What do we want to be positioned as? Or when people think of our brand, what do we want them to feel, or what do we want them to associate us with? And conversely, when people have a particular problem, when my target market needs a particular thing, do they think of me? Right? So these are the two questions that we need to address. Okay, so an example, what comes to mind when I say inbound marketing? Okay, that's right, the answer is HubSpot. That's what positioning is, because HubSpot has positioned itself as a brand which stands for inbound marketing. Okay, next example, what comes to mind when I say the safest car? Of course, the answer is Volvo. So these are a few examples of positioning. Okay, moving to value proposition now. Value proposition is actually the offer that you make to the market. Is the offer that you make to the market. Another way of putting it is the value that you promise to the market. Or in other words, it's the benefit that you're promising. When you use my product or my service, when you engage with my brand, what is it that you will get? That's what value proposition is. Example, Unbound's value proposition at some point of time was A/B testing without any tech headaches. Slack's value proposition is something along the lines of where people get work done together, or a better way to communicate. So, they play around with these two value propositions. Digit, which is an application for personal finances, which is obviously a very, very crowded space. Their proposition is that save money without thinking about it. So many brands, many apps in the personal space would have the value proposition which is around save money, but the way they are creating a unique value proposition is by saying save money without thinking about it. That's what makes them unique. Okay, going deeper, the value proposition is an intersection between what you offer and the actual benefits that the audience gets. What do I mean by that? Well, it's not about what you want to offer to the people, it's how they are benefiting from it. And there is a subtle difference, because it's easy to get caught up in our own heads and create a value proposition which we think is right for our brand, but the actual value proposition is something that the audience connects with. It's the actual benefit that the audience is getting. So as an example, to distinguish between these two things, you might be selling a software that helps marketers generate more qualified leads. Maybe that's what you think you're doing. But when you interview your customers, when you ask your customers how they're benefiting from it, you might realize that actually you're helping marketers save more time. Okay, so this is a fictitious example. Of course, it's not a real example. Maybe it's a ridiculous example, but you get the point. The point is that it's not about what you think, it's not about what you want to position, or it's not about the value proposition that you want to give. It's about the value proposition that is perceived by the target market. Now, if you are wondering that, Pranav, you have still not made it clear to us the difference between value proposition and uh, positioning. So I made a typo here. It should be, there's a close relationship between positioning and value proposition. Then you are right. Of course, there is a very close relationship with these two things, and it has got to be a close relationship, because if it's not a close relationship, then there is a problem. And so, of course, they're interconnected with each other. So think of value proposition as something which is about occupying a space inside your prospect's mind. Whenever we think of the safest car, the audience is immediately comes up with Volvo, right? Whenever we think of technology and gadgets, at least a few years back, when we thought of state of the art technology, Apple is the brand that came to our mind, right? This is what positioning is. When we think of inbound and marketing, we think of HubSpot. A value proposition is something that the brand gives out, that hey, we will help you with this. That's the subtle difference. Okay, let's take a few examples just to bring it all together. Let's take an example of my friend, a freelance example, which is my friend Aditya, who's a photographer. Okay, positioning. Aditya is a photographer for people in Maharashtra. So I stay in Maharashtra, and he is a photographer who caters to people who want to have a traditional Marathi wedding. So what is Marathi traditional wedding? Basically, a few set of people in Maharashtra want to have a very cultural, very, very traditional wedding. And Aditya, because he himself is a Maharashtrian and he himself has worked with this target market, knows what rituals take place, and he knows when to shoot, when to record videos, when to record photos, and so he's an expert in this kind of a wedding. So if there is someone who falls into this target market who wants to have a wedding like this, then Aditya is the go-to person. So like I said, so if you are someone who needs a photographer for a traditional Maharashtrian wedding, you think of Aditya. The value proposition in this case is going to be, hi, I am Aditya, a photographer who captures beautiful memories during traditional Maharashtrian weddings without any headaches and hidden costs. Right? So again, you can see that there's a mix and match of value proposition and positioning here. Okay, the components, without any headaches and hidden costs, they are more of the benefits that these guys get when they hire Aditya. Again, the underlying assumption here is that the target market is frustrated with photographers because they have hidden costs, and then they are late, and so there are different headaches. So Aditya is positioning himself as someone who does not give these kind of headaches, and that is how he's being different from the competition. Okay, the next example is a client of mine known as Interview Mocha. Now, what does Interview Mocha do? Interview Mocha is a skill assessment solution. What's a skill assessment solution? Well, if there is an organization who wants to hire, let's say, 10 Java developers, it's not possible to have an interview with all of them because there is not enough time. So what do? You basically assess their skills. So let's say for a Java developer, you have 5 basic skills that are needed. You assess those 5 skills, you get the report, and then you share that report with the hiring manager. And then, let's say out of 5, 2 have done well, or 2 have passed that examination, and only those 2 people or those 2 candidates will be called for an interview. That's the whole business model. Now, as far as the positioning is concerned, Interview Mocha is a skill assessment solution. You can Google this, by the way. You can just go to www.interviewmocha.com. It's a skill assessment solution for enterprise IT services companies only. So when I say enterprise IT services, it means the development shops, the software development companies, IT services companies which have employees, more than 1,000 and less than 5,000. That was a typical target market, right? So 1,000 to 5,000 employees is what the target market was. So for a skill assessment solution for enterprise IT services companies is what their positioning is. So if you are working as an HR, or if you are working as in the talent acquisition department of an enterprise IT organization, and if you're thinking of skill assessments, you think of Interview Mocha. Okay, so if let's imagine I am an HR in that particular organization, and if I have a problem of skill assessment, I think of Interview Mocha. The value proposition in this case, which has been taken from the website itself: start building winning teams with our 2,000 plus skills, enterprise ready features, and plug and play ATS integrations. That's what the value proposition is, right? Getting the difference between the two? I hope so. Okay, the next example is CXL, a training institute. The positioning is that a brand that helps high performing ambitious marketers develop skills. So it's for high performing ambitious marketers. So for someone who is a marketer and is looking to grow in the conversion optimization space, then CXL courses are for him. The value proposition in this case is, again, taken from the website, is for people serious about dramatically improving their marketing skills. The promise, the benefit that the customer will get if they sign up. And the last example, a fictitious brand, let's call it the Pure Wool, the sweater brand. The positioning is that a sweater brand for people who care about sustainability. So if I am someone who cares about sustainability, and if I'm feeling cold and I want to buy sweater, Pure Wool is the brand that automatically jumps into my mind. That's what positioning is. But what will Pure Wool say on their website? Made from 100% merino wool, Pure Wool sweaters provide you comfort and style while saving the earth at the same time. So it's more about the benefit. The difference is subtle, but I hope these examples make it clear. If they don't, I suggest that you rewatch the video, and I sincerely hope this helps. If you have stayed for this long for the video, please subscribe to my channel, and in the comments tell me what really resonated, what did not make sense to you, and which brands you love when it comes to their value proposition and positioning. That's it. Thanks, guys.